Hello, race fans and Jeff Gordon fans alike. This is Balto Racing, and this is episode 2 of Jeff Gordon, the Quarterly Sheet. Now, for this episode, I'll go over the races between the Crown Royal 400 and the Coke Zero 400, a span of 9 races. Of course, as before, it'll be a grading system based on 8 different areas. So, let's not waste any more time and let's get started. In the 9 race span, Jeff Gordon had an average starting position of 8.7. Pretty good compared to most other drivers, so without further ado, I'll give this one a B+. Now, of course, he's good enough to get a pole. I think it'll happen at some point this season. Hasn't happened yet, but he's certainly good enough to do it. One thing I'm starting to notice in the past few weeks is that the restarts and the short runs have really been better for the 24 team, especially in the past few weeks. So I think Steve Letard's found something. It's getting better by the week, even in Chicago, which is, of course, for the next one. But in the 9 races I'm covering, it's been a steady climb, so I'll say a B+. The long runs this year for Jeff and his team has been a major strong point. Now, there were a couple races that it really hindered them, like Pocono. They lost a lot of spots towards the end of the run, so it's still solid, but there was still some density armor at some point, so I'll give this one a B. The communication between Jeff Gordon and Steve Letard has certainly been better in the past couple of seasons, but even in this 9 race stretch, there were a couple races that concerned me. Like at Dover, when Steve Letard put in the spring rubber and the car went way behind, and at Charlotte, which was just a complete and utter struggle. But the one race that really concerned me was Pocono. They were a top 5 car for the entire first half of the race, and the whole second half was just an absolute disaster. So for this one, I'll give it a B-. Pit strategy for this episode is a very interesting topic. First, I'll start with the good. We can look back at Charlotte and how they were just scratching just for a top 10 finish. When the last caution came out, they were in 8th position. Steve told Jeff to stay out. He finished 6th, which is an 8-point difference, which I think in September and October, if they can do the same thing, which would be huge. Now, of course, the bad, once again, was Pocono and how the ending of that race was handled. But for the most part, it's been pretty good, so I'll give this one a B. The pit crew in 2010 has been a great fixture for Jeff Gordon and the team. Out of the 9 races that I'm covering, 3 times did the pit crew win the T-Sod Pit Road Precision Award. They have been very solid, very consistent throughout the entire season so far, so I'll give the pit crew here an A. They have been very solid, very few mistakes, and the mistakes they have made, they have recovered very well. Of course, like I've said before, Shannon has been one of the best spotters in the sport for quite a while now. Now, he got a little bit of heat about what happened at Pocono, but I think from my point of view, that was a pretty tough situation to try to get Jeff out of. He was pretty far back in the pack, and there was smoke everywhere, and the track was basically blocked. So I can't see how anyone could put the blame on Shannon there. So I'll give him an A. Although there is still a goose egg in the win column, we have seen this team get better and better at the end of races. Like, for example, Charlotte, in which they turned a pretty rough car into a 6th place finish. And Daytona, definitely. They went into Daytona with a 10-race streak without a top 10 finish, and Jeff missed all the wrecks and kept the car clean and got a good 3rd place finish. So it's getting better. We're seeing improvement, so I'll give this area B+. I think as we start to get closer and closer to chase time, I think pay attention to what Steve Letarte does. I think this team is going to go a different direction on a couple of these setups for a couple of these races since Jeff seems pretty safe in the points right now. So glad you watched, and hopefully you'll be around for the next one. And remember that his birthday is August 4th, so I'll have a music video out on that day. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching.